treat at our coffee break, that wonderful porcini mushroom thing with the arugula and the tart and so on. That was very, very yummy. And so our thanks to the chef for sure. I was just saying tomorrow that everyone's kind of like,
yeah.
More food.
I'll try to keep everyone energized and kind of like a little bit of dose of caffeine, at least my caffeine that I had a couple of minutes ago, and try to import that upon you.
That's right. We needed a good espresso, didn't we? Yeah.
Awesome.
But Marl's agreed to come and talk with us a little bit. We've been talking branding, we've been talking marketing today. And so this idea of aligning brand throughout throughout an entire organization and what that looks like, what it looks like for us individually, and for our agencies, but also how is that done in an organization like this? I mean, how do you keep that alignment going? And what's kind of your philosophy, around your branding and and the marketing that you do?
Got it. 100%. So first and foremost, thank you very much.
Of course.
Just to have the, again, honor, privilege to be able not only to host you, but also to be able to humbly speak on behalf of Aquilina and also on behalf of my own experience in the luxury sector. And I'll promise I'll be brief, and I'll try to make this obviously as engaging as possible. I know that otherwise Jay's going to kick me out of here, so I just don't want to go through that, especially since I'm being recorded. But I do love the attention for a while, so thank you very much for putting me on the spot. So going off of of marketing and going off of branding and going off of this consistency, what I wanted to just talk very quickly with you about is about brand consistency. And what does that represent for Aquilina, right? And how important it is for us to be able to fight the fight that we fight here in Miami. It is such a competitive market. And this hotel is not a new hotel, right? It's not a novelty factor. This hotel has been where it has been very well positioned for going 13 years now. And it's not, well, obviously it's due to the beautiful outdoors that we have, but it's also due to much more than that. So I wanted to talk about brand consistency. And one of the points, and where does it all start, is really on the mission statement that Aquilina has. Right? The success of Aquilina is due to its happy and dedicated team members who respect each other's talents, delivering exceptional guest experiences, always striving to do better. That's our mission statement. And I think everything that we do, every decision that we make is tied to that mission statement, right? So I'll tell you a story. I started this business in Brazil, in a small chain that is virtuoso, by the way. It's called the Fazenda Hotels. The Fazenda Hotels in Sao Paulo, my first hotel. I was there for 8.5 years. When I got to the Fazenda, there was only one hotel, which was in Sao Paulo. And that was the epitome of hospitality, at least in Brazil. And for me, for the first hotel that I've ever worked in, for me that was incredible. Everything that they did, how they delivered, the smiles, just the way that everybody felt in that place, the food, everything was incredible. I spent a couple of years there, and then the second hotel opened up. And that was the Hotel Fazenda in Rio de Janeiro. Also very known, beautiful pool, fantastic restaurant. But I started to feel a little bit of a dissonance between the two of them. So whenever I would go for one and stay at my own property, I would see the service being treated this way. And then I would go to the other one, and then there was a service slightly different than that. And then I started to realize, and that perhaps because part of my education was on marketing, that the brand position in my own head would change. I literally, when I close my eyes and I think about brands, I literally put them in a chart where the most valuable are here and the less valuable are down there. So every time that I had my own experiences on property that were not consistent from one property to another, which were part of my own brand, my own positioning of the brand would change, right? So I always start, I've been in sales and I've been in marketing, so I've been more into how to sell the property rather than how to operate the property in that sense. But I've always kept on thinking, why is that? And why is the value of that brand changing in my own mind? So I then moved to the U.S. and I was working with the St. Regis in Bar Harbor, very close to us. And I realized that there was a lot of protocols in places, things that the Fazano didn't quite have, right? So you can see that some things would replicate themselves regardless where you were. And the St. Regis was a very well-positioned hotel, continues to be a very well-positioned hotel, right? So I started to make that, of course, union between the consistency of everything and the brand positioning in my own head. And then I came to Aquilina. Aquilina was an obsession of mine, literally, because it doesn't matter where I went and I was trying to sell the other property, this hotel was always, always, always on vogue. Anywhere. Latin America, Europe, you name it, Aquilina was always there. So I was always very curious about Aquilina. When the opportunity presented itself for me to come here, I was delighted to. And this is where I got in contact, and that's what I really, really wanted to understand. Like, how is this marketing done that this property continues to be so well positioned year after year after year after year, and not only well positioned, but actually gaining positioning year after year. And that's how the brand consistency came about for me. That's when I really kind of created a link between the consistency and the branding. And I'll explain to you. Whenever you think of Aquilina, what do you think at this point in time? What does come to mind?
Excellent service.
Thank you.
Yeah, the customer service is just far, even when you first step out of the car, the customer service is just phenomenal.
It's personalized. It's personalized. They remember you. They remember you.
Thank you.
I think boutique and a sense of spaciousness.
Mhm.
The accommodations,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
number of rooms on each floor.
Mhm.
It's almost has a private apartment feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
If the service, let's just say the first night was, or the front desk, you know, the arrival process was fantastic the first day, but then the second day you pass by and no one actually looks up and gives you a smile. Do you think that that would change the perception on what you have? Like however you would identify the brand?
Yeah, sure.
And then the other day is again phenomenal, and the fourth day is again indifferent, right? So out of the 3 points that I believe we really kind of focus into from a branding consistency, my 3 points are, one is the marketing part of it and the alignment of the marketing, right? Because we always portray ourselves in the right way. Our hero shots, whenever we have a new hero shot, so the red of the umbrellas, for instance, on a marketing side is the red of the umbrellas, right? The beach and the red of the umbrellas. That's a constant, right? It's consistent. Every time you have a new hero shot, it's about the outdoors. It's about the red umbrellas. It's about the ocean, and that contrast of the red and the blue is consistent. And every time we change it everywhere. It's consistent. Our logo, for instance, would always be the red clove, and whenever we put anything out there, the brand guidelines are very consistent. So we are very consistent on our marketing to the point that if we look into it, you know, it's almost boring in that sense because it doesn't change a lot. It's not supposed to change a lot. It's consistent, right? So one of the points that I think is very important is to have consistency on your marketing, the way that we write, the fonts that we use, the colors that we use, the logo that we use, the photos. Everything is very consistent across the board, right? And that goes into the brand alignment. 2 would be really the values. So as I said in the beginning, our mission statement is the success of Aquilina is due to its happy and dedicated team members who respect each other's talents, delivering exceptional guest experience, always striving to do better. The statement talk about team members first and foremost. And you do have to walk the talk in that sense, right? If you don't allow for that empowerment, if you don't have high touch, if you only put it out there, but there is no empowerment, there is no autonomy, then it's not really something that bodes well for the branding. So a big part of the guest experience that we have is really due to that empowerment. You know, that value, those sets of values that our brand was built upon, they are reminded on a daily basis. Now my team, which is the reservations and the sales team, they are very empowered. I talk to my reservations team, you are empowered, you have autonomy to be able to listen to what the caller is saying on the other side, and then customize everything about their stay. And we're only quoting rates, right? For a lot of properties, it is a mere transactional call. I want this is the price, put it all together and go. But that's not how Aquilina is. Even from a very transactional point of view, our focus is on this empowerment, is using the brand values that we have and applying it on a day-to-day. So I think having a good brand value or having a mission statement, that we are very proud of, and then applying that on a day-to-day basis, using those values on the day-to-day are very important for branding.
Give us an example of what that looks like in action.
Sure. For instance, one of the things that we have at Aquilina that we try to promote as much as possible are wow stories. And wow stories are, as the name would say, is moments that we go just wow, right? So our pool and beach, they're fantastic. We do have friendly competitions, weeklies and monthly basis, of who has the most wow stories. And our friends at the pool and beach, they're fantastic at doing it because they overhear a lot of what's going on, right? So in one case recently, our pool and beach team has overheard during a conversation while they were serving that one of the daughters of a couple that was saying she was saddened by the fact that her favorite teddy bear was not in a trip with her. They had forgotten it, it wasn't there, and it was just something that was whole dear for her. So our brand culture is that everyone's empowered to do whatever it is that is necessary for that guest to be happy. So pool and beach team went out and actually got a little family of teddy bears and say, your teddy bear might not have been here, but these are the cousins that actually are in Miami, and they're here for you. And of course there was a gift, and it's a very small thing, but at the end of the day, it represents so much. And these stories, I mean, if you talk to Christophe, he can go on and on and on for days and then days, because every day those stories happen. And it goes back to, you are empowered. And it's about being happy too, right? I mean, you as a professional, as someone that has passion, if you're in hospitality, you have to have passion, right? You have to love what you do, because it isn't to become a millionaire. You do it because you love it. And if you are given the opportunities and the tools to go out there and make people happy, that makes you happy as a contributor, as a dream maker, as we call all of our team members, dream makers. So we do use it all the time. And again, my own reservations team, which is very transactional, every time there is a call, the way that we train is to actively listen. Wait for the golden nuggets, as we call them, to come up, right? I am traveling to celebrate my daughter's graduation. Well, that's already enough information that we can cater your stay for something spectacular and have that acknowledgement. Congratulations on graduating. Oh, really? What are they going to study? And then that's another golden nugget. Archaeology, well, don't we do something with archaeology? What are you going to do with that information now that you have it? So we train and we empower, and I think that's very, very important for branding, right? The branding consistency. If you're able to deliver on that level constantly and constantly and constantly, well, that elevates you. Again, when one closes its eyes and think about the brand that one adores, if there is consistent marketing and if there is consistent delivery upon the values and consistent delivery on whatever service we're trying to put forth, that brand would automatically be repositioned in your own mindset, right? So for me, it's really what Aquilina does tremendously well. The marketing side, we are very controlling, and we have to be, of everything that's out there. We audit ourselves quite frequently. We audit everyone else. So if anyone is carrying any kind of information about Aquilina, we do have process and protocols in place to be able to have everything aligned. Doesn't matter what is the distribution system that things are going out. Our brand is always very well represented from a marketing perspective, but allegedly even more important than that, it really is to use that mission statement and apply that mission statement every single day to really defend that the Aquilina's success is due to its happy and talented team members, right? And they are happy doing what they love, and that it gets felt by you, and hopefully continues to get felt every day. And that's how the brand
what is it,
goes into the position.
Did you say wall stories?
Wow.
Wow.
Right.
W-O-W, wow stories, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, there's an interesting one. One returning guest, so we have a lot of returning guests that comes in with families, right? And it's interesting to see the growth of their family members, right? So we're now to the point that some of the kids are now coming back with families themselves. And we have this brand loyalty, right? 50% of our guests are actually returning guests. So we can see the growth, really. It's part of the family. So in one instance, one of the children of a couple that is a returning couple got into an animal phase, like a zoo phase. Like it's about zoo. It's about tigers and monkeys and all that. And it was just something that kid was really constantly talking about. And really just a conversational piece. That information was shared during a reservation process. It was just something that we knew. Like, oh, one of the kids, it's a little bit older now, they're returning, and they're really about zoo and really about zoo and really about zoo. And so the interesting part is that as this information was shared, we had an idea that why don't we contact a zoo, and why don't we actually bring a zoo in to be able to surprise them while they're here with a couple of wildlife. And we actually do it in a very sustainable way. So that's how one of the aqua experiences started. Long story short, when he came here, we actually had wildlife animals that the child can actually play with and get to learn from, and how how to have that where are they from, and what is important to maintain from an ecology perspective. So we offer them the experience of having their own kind of private zoo. And that actually generated one of the aqua experiences, which is wildlife animal. And the wildlife aqua experiences is a partnership with a local non-profit organization that actually rescues wildlife and ensures that they are rehabilitated. Sometimes they go back to the wild, sometimes they can't because they can't be rehabilitated, but we actually bring them in to continue that educational process, which is also part of our curriculum for Aquamarine, our kids club. But this is also something that we heard, and it was like, this is so interesting.
Right.
We can actually bring this experience in and make something completely unique and unforgettable, because we took the time to listen, because we empowered our team members to take action, because it's rewarded, and it goes with brand values, right? So, I mean, again, there are a lot of them.
There are a lot of stories. Well, we'll corner Christoph.
Oh yeah, he'll be able to. Or just talk to anyone else on Poland
Right.
Beach. You will see. I mean, it's birthdays and celebrations, and sometimes it's not even something like that. Sometimes it's a simple, sheer comment that they're happy to be here, and there you go. I made this for you. From a drawing to a little piece of art. We have a lot of artists actually on property that are good at painting and music, and sometimes they just, at a spur of the moment, they produce something and say, we're just so happy to have you here, and I made you this, and for not necessarily a particular reason. So it's a lot of our notoriety in the market, I would say, a lot of the reasons, or the reason why Aquilina remains to be so dear and beloved and have this 50% returning guest. 32% of our dream makers actually have been here since inception, 13 years ago. That retention all go back to that,
Yeah.
you know, the consistency of the brand and how we as executive committee members and all of our managers really remain with our eye on the ball and say, we're consistently delivering, we're going to consistently continue to deliver time and time again. Yeah.
Well, and that's very much what we've been talking about today, starting the morning and sort of distinguishing the difference between our brands and our marketing. And the brand, at the end of the day, is your reputation, and it is, you know, your philosophy and living true to those values and missions that you know that you dig pretty deep to figure out what that actually is, and then have that be your navigational, you know, navigational star out there as you know, find your way through the business world and the ups and downs and hurricanes and, you know, I mean, we showed up about a week after a big hurricane a couple of years ago. And these guys were painting while we were setting up, you know, but it got done, and also for your guests. And I remember you guys talking about the number of your staff. That, I mean, a hurricane. It was a big one. It was a big one. It was a big deal, and you guys had damage here. You had significant damage, and how many of the staff, you know, would come in. Made their families were safe. You made sure that all of that was safe.
First and foremost.
And then they would come in and get busy and help put things back right.
100%, 100%. I think it's common to hear that, you know, we're a family and corporations and a family. But to that point, you know, I come from out of town. I don't have family here. It's me, my wife, and my dogs. And Irma was the first real hurricane that I've ever experienced, and I did not know what to do. I really didn't. When it got to the point of evacuation, and I do live in an evacuation zone, I didn't know what to do. Both Deborah and Mr. Trump, our owner, both
Not
offered.
that Mr. Trump,
their,
another Mr. Trump. Okay.
The ones that don't know, we have our owners from South Africa, the Trump family. They invited me, my wife, and my dogs to stay at their house over that period of time. And it wasn't only me. There were other team members that were invited. If you don't have a place to come, you can come to my house. And I think that it's again a testament to walk the talk, right? Happy, dedicated team members. The happiness goes with all of it. You know, your family is important to all of us, and I know that my family is important to Aqualina, because without them, I'm not happy. If I'm not happy, I can't deliver exceptional experiences. So it's an all-encompassing. It really is walking the talk. And as you said, you know, I wasn't here when they created the mission statement, but I take it to heart, because it is really, at the end of the day, when everything else gets deconstructed, or doesn't matter which hurricanes pass by, that value, that constant, which is that mission statement, will always be the Northern Star for all the decisions that we take. And if we're in alignment with that, then we know it's going to be successful. So
now, another thing that Marl has said here that I think is important is how carefully they protect their marketing. You know, that there's a consistency to it, right down to the font that's used, to the quality of the pictures that are used. You know, the iconic, you know, red that we see out there. That those are things, and you think about that, that's true for you too. You know, it's absolutely true. How you manage that, which is why some of the stuff, some of the shenanigans out on social media can hurt you as well. So you want to be very, very careful about how you're, how you're distributing things.
One of our challenges, because it's a new technology, and I think it's also very important that although you do have your mission statement, your values very well ingrained, things change, distribution channels change, marketing channel change, and with the arrival of social media, of course, it changes abruptly and very fast. And there's a lot of noise out there, right? There's a lot of multiple ways of actually being able to promote yourself or promote your brand. And one of the challenges that we had this year, and it was all of us growing together and learning together, because everything is done in-house. We don't third party, especially our marketing, because it's such a vital part of what Aquilina is, and so very true and dear to Deborah and to our ownership. We had to learn how to properly market ourselves on social media, and we did at some point got into a replicating what the market in general was doing, you know, and when you see too many photos of a drink by the pool, that can be anywhere, right? Like holding a coconut, it could be anywhere. It wasn't necessarily in brand. So although very careful, it is something to think about. What represents my brand, and what's unique about my brand? Is it the drink by the pool? Not necessarily. When we saw that, we said, well, perhaps we are drifting into a direction that we're present, which is important. You know, we have our brand out there, but is it being represented true to what we really are at the end? Perhaps not so much. So we started to revert back to a more, you know, like this unique outdoors, the family offerings that Aquilina has, what really makes us different, the fact that we're open to the sea, things that aren't replicable, that if you do see it at a glance, you're able to recognize it's Aquilina, right? Yeah. So yes, absolutely. I think it's protecting our brand everywhere we see it. And again, we go to third-party websites. Sometimes we find information about Aquilina in places we never put them there, because it just gets picked up, you know? It gets picked up and distributed, and everyone wants to sell luxury. So you see yourself being misrepresented, and I'm the first one to go in and say, A, you're not representing me correctly, and B, I never give you authorization for that. So I'm protecting the brand, and everything about the brand, which is also, of course, very, very important. Oh, yes, absolutely, yes.
So I did a post on Instagram while I was here. Am I in trouble?
No, absolutely not. We love user-generated content.
I tagged you.
We love user-generated content. No. Please, by all means. Absolutely, absolutely. User-generated content is fantastic, and every time that you are in and you are able to talk about us and promote us, you know, your vision is fantastic for us. What I meant to say in terms of how are we promoting it is that we want you to have access, or anyone else that is following Aquilina on social media or Facebook or even on email marketing, is that we are representing the best side of us, and then you're able to recognize us instantly. So whenever you see that, you know, oh my God, that's Aquilina. You know, that's what we have to take care of as brand protectors. But please, user-generated content is one of the best things that can happen, and we're very glad that social media has arrived, because up until that point, it was very hard to reach past your own, you know, you have your first line, and then reach past it. It was very complicated. You would go to print, and my God, print is something else completely, right? So user-generated is fantastic, and we absolutely adore it.
Right. Now, if someone wanted to access, you know, photography or content that was specific to you for, I don't know, you're doing a presentation, or you're going to be talking about some of the places you've visited this year, and you want to talk about Aquilina, can they be in touch with you and actually get
absolutely, please do,
your professional photography and so on?
We have everything on a Dropbox, so we organize ourselves again from a consistency perspective to have everything on a Dropbox. So every time we change, it changes everywhere, so you always have access to the latest that we have access to. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to share my experience with your colleague Lily.
Yes.
Who is wonderful.
Thank you.
I met her for the first time last year, and she was in the office, and we did have this conversation about social media. She asked us to put some pictures that were in your Dropbox box on our Instagram page, and we just loved the idea. You know, I thought it was very clever.
Thank you.
So we did.
Thank you, and thank you very much again. It helps us tremendously from a marketing perspective, because there's just so much that an independent company is able to do with marketing. As you know, marketing can be quite expensive. So with your assistance and your your patronage, it helps us tremendously, right? But it just a little caveat about Lily. Lily's your senior sales manager, and she takes care of the U.S. market. Lily was actually in reservations before coming to sales, and she's such a great example of someone that has passion, and is just she was meant for sales all along. She just didn't know it. So first time that I met her, I said, "You're a fantastic salesperson." But thank you. And yes, it is. Everything is organized on a Dropbox, and I do think that that's really the best way of going about it. You know, having your press releases or having your imagery always constantly updated as a Rolodex that you can service and you can help everyone else to help you, and make it easier for everyone else to be able to help you as a brand by offering, you know, what they need, when they need, already ready and very well packaged up, because, you know, it improves our chances of getting good marketing outside of our own domain.
Right.
Mara, we thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And again, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. If there's anything that I can do to further be of assistance, please.
Look, Christoph told me that I couldn't post on social media for him.
That's something you have to talk to Christoph about. It's some kind of mojo between you guys. But thank you very much.
Great.
For
Thank you, Mauro.
Have a fantastic
Yeah.
rest of your day, fantastic rest of the week. I might not see you because I do have 2 days of forum starting tomorrow. So if I do not, obviously I'll share my contact information with everyone. But have a fantastic time. Thank you for the opportunity. Virtuoso and VCTA have been, we already talked about this, been so great for Aquilina all this time. And we are incredibly honored and privileged to be able to welcome you. So please enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take that one.
I'll unmic you here. Thanks, dear.
Thank you, my dear.
I appreciate it. Good. All right, so that's brand in the flesh, right there. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, good. All right. Well, with all of that in, oh yeah, get this thing going again here. With all of that in mind, in now really having a better idea, you know, probably things formulating in your minds in some cases. Some of you have a pretty clear idea of what it is that you want to do in the way of not your brand, but also now how you're going to do the marketing of that. And so the next little piece that we want to add to our little layer cake that we've been making all week is, so who are you going to market to? You know, and what are you going to, what's the message out there? So this takes us to something that we call sphere of influence. And thinking in terms for this portion of things, I want you to be thinking in terms of both potential clients, and that may be, you know, the potential clients might be my former colleagues, all right? Potential clients might be the group from my church or from my synagogue, okay? A sphere of influence might be your community. You know, Scott and Kip have a particular community that you're zeroing in on. It could be a whole variety of things. What are some other, when you think about, like, who knows me as well as who do I know? So think about that. What are some examples of who knows?
Who said who knows of me?
Yeah, so who knows of me? You know, who knows who I am out there? That would be like tickle pink to find out about me. Yeah, Amanda.
Nonprofit board that I've been on for years.
Okay, maybe it's a board that you've been on. That would be, they may or may not be clients, but they certainly know you, right, and respect you. What would be something else that might fit in the bill? Yeah, Debbie. Kids' schools, right. Your kids, you know, you've got all sorts of, you got kids, you got all sorts of, you know, directions that might take. But it might be through the school, it might be through sports, you know, different things. Kip.
Any of the schools where I've coached the principals, the vice principals, and the
Yep.
administrators.
So your past colleagues, people that you have worked with, you know, over the years. Absolutely. All of those, you know, all of those principles out there. Yeah, Summer.
Would we consider healthcare providers like doctors, dentists?
Yeah, yeah. It may be some of your professional, you know,
Your CPAs, your financial advisors?
exactly. Your financial advisor wants to know what you're up to. Okay?
On many levels.
On many levels. Right, right, right. Yeah. So not only your professional colleagues, but your professional providers.
Right.
What about like your neighborhood HOA? Like
Could
your
be.
Neighborhood group?
Right. Maybe there's something in your neighborhood. And yeah, your friends. Friends. And remember, even though maybe we don't want them as our clients, or maybe they really don't have the potential to be our clients, right? But they could be our ambassadors, right? So our message to our marketing, maybe to our ambassadors, is a little different than our marketing to potential customers, right? Okay, so that could be two different things.
You don't want to discount
Anybody.
Right now, you just want to be able to do who knows who do you know. You should be putting everything down, okay?
Right.
There
Right.
shouldn't be any restrictions on this list right now.
Right. It could be your alumni organizations. It could be that person from high school who keeps everyone connected. You know, in my case, it's Vern Underwood. Vern Underwood. If you want to spread the news around my high school, you know, friends, I contact Vern Underwood. He puts it out, and everybody knows exactly what's going on. Yeah. So you have those sorts of characters out there. Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce?
Maybe your chamber. Yeah.
Or like a golf club or a yacht club?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your own kind of recreational or sports.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. You know, your gym or your yoga
Bless you.
studio or, you know, whatever it might happen to be.
Professional affiliation with networking group like D&I, it's like.
Yes,
Yeah.
your networking groups.
Toastmasters or, you know,
Right.
your local Kiwanis, you know, any of those.
Also, former professional connections.
Yes.
Got an email yesterday from, I was in the Executive Assistant Association. I
Mhm.
said, I'm no longer doing that. She said, what are you doing? She said, give me your new contact information. I want to connect you to all the executive assistants, so. Yeah.
Right.
So things like that. And also friends of friends, too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. These circles keep going out and out and out and out. And so when we start thinking about, in some cases, you may be just simply announcing the fact that you're doing this, and thinking about what all that might look like. I mean, you know, your Christmas card list. I don't know.
And
You
your
know.
spouse. And
Your
like,
spouse,
they're
absolutely.
like Pied Piper for you. It's like, you know, we took this trip and my wife planned it, her husband, and so like they're the ones that, you know the people who,
Right.
again, are in their industry that are making the same paychecks.
Exactly. 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 Yeah.
Spouse's company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're an owner or manager. I'm spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
My husband owns car dealerships.
Yes. Exactly.
A lot of clients.
And there's a lot of clientele there.
Oh, the management.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of people. Here's the thing. All of these people want you to succeed. Maybe there's a snarky friend in there somewhere. But all of these people want you to succeed.
Why does everybody look at Jay when you said snarky?
I didn't. No.
I have no problem with that.
He's got no problem. He's got no problem with that at all.
Also your kids.
Your kids.
Yeah.
My kids are not snarky.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised. Your kids tell their friends.
Yeah.
I got my biggest client from my son's friend. Yep.
Mhm.
Biggest client is from.
Yeah, so if they know, maybe you don't send them a formal letter,
Yeah.
but if they understand and know,
Your kids tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're teachers.
Well, no, you
Yeah.
just came up, yeah, you just have your kids.
Anecdotally.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
But what's important here again is that, you know, really dig deep and think in terms of who all do I know and who all knows me. Now, here's somebody who knows you, and that is probably your parents' friends. Okay, you know, or your auntie's, you know, friends, all those little traveling ladies out there. You know, who is it out there that loves you and cares about you that could be an ambassador for you? So think about all of those different things. Filling the pipeline is awfully important. As Susie and I were talking at break, that because you've been a lot of business is happening, but here's the thing on cash flow. Goes like that for quite a long time. And there are ups and downs in this business. There's the season, you know, you may be busy now, you know, doing some seasonal things for the fall and the winter holidays and the winter and even spring break. And then once spring break and summer is over with, it's like, ooh, things drop off for a few weeks. Stuff happens as well out in the world. So things will go up and things will go down. So you want to keep that pipeline full of people who are interested in you and interested in your travel. So take some time.
Okay, so right now there is a handout in your binder. It's Sphere of Influence. So this piece, 10 minutes, you're going to put down as many contact groups. We're not at the, not yet, don't get to the individual names, but just as many spheres, the groups, the parents, the organizations, the alumni associations. Put down as many of those names as you can. All right? As many names about contacts that you may have. Spheres of influence.
It looks like some of the circles are further away from the big one. Is that
Do-
how you want us to think about
draw
it?
more circles.
Yeah. Interconnect them. Yeah.
Intersect
Yeah.
them. Make
Yeah.
them bubble. You know. Don't be. This is not specific. This is just a little template for you. Oh yeah, at like 6 or something like that. Now, as you start to kind of wind down, let's do what we've been doing, and that is to talk to your table. Share some ideas, because somebody's going to go, oh, that's a good idea. So share with your tables what some of the ideas are that you guys have.
My husband has a really good friend in the Dominican Republic, and he heads Serviair, and what they are, all the airports in Dominican Republic, Punta Cana and stuff, he's the one that is a third party that the airlines hire, and he provides customs, baggage, gates, all of that. Usually when you're traveling and it's third party or it's international. So I thought he has a group of people that we know, and I thought that would be something different, and they're affluent. So
Yeah.
that might be, and you know what? Until today, I didn't think about that.
My uncle's a private pilot. He does
And that he must know.
There you go. He's a private pilot? Oh my God.
like net jets or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. Uncle Ron. Yeah, we've been dissing family here. Yeah, and we got Uncle Ron in our back pocket. Yeah, yeah, great, great, yeah.
You need a stewardess?
Yeah, right. Yeah, Brenda, what do you got?
I thought of community centers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, are we doing more than one? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, whatever, good ideas. Yeah.
I've got tons. Mine are mostly work related, but I've got executives that reported to my former bosses, work friends, former bosses, exec I've worked with but haven't worked with but know me. Former work colleagues, Starbucks Alumni Association, service providers that work directly with my former bosses, friends of my former bosses, husband's colleagues. So that's kind of all the work piece, and then friends and family, and I'm part of a wine club, so
Yep.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Enological Society. Yeah. What? Enological Society. Wine tasting club. People who like to drink wine.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of also, that reminds me. We have a specialized wine place in Seattle, and they actually do tours. And they take so each part of the store has experts. So there's the guy that's the expert on Spanish wine, this person's the expert on champagne. And they do Tuesdays and Saturdays they do educational, and then they also do trips too. So
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also know a personal life coach, and she does retreats at Mondeluzzi.
All right. All right. Yeah. 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 Yeah, you start thinking about it's like, I actually have a lot of connections here. A lot of connections. Yeah. Great. Good. What do you got, Scott?
Well, I was thinking about over 55 communities.
Yes.
We used to call it seminar sellers, and that's when you can get people to come. My idea was that we would have somebody somebody from Regent or somebody else that would do a presentation. So I
Right.
didn't have to do the presentation.
Right.
And another idea was that we could then go to wine stores. One of my colleagues is doing that because wine stores often have events that will bring people in, and they'll actually bring the wine. If they've got a wine cruise, for example, our agency actually organized a trip to Spain around wine. And
Right.
personally,
Right.
You
Right.
get to go visit the various wineries.
Right.
And if you bring samples, then
Well, if you can, then those sorts of situations when everybody wins, the winemaker wins, the wine store wins, you win, so that everybody wins in that situation, and everybody's got a different list, so they're bringing people in around that. Yeah.
I have a a question for you. I've been thinking about getting all my ducks in a row, but I was wanting to do an event where you bring in like maybe like a boutique spa, nothing big, and kind of do like a women's brunch, and set up like a really nice trip set up, and it would kind of be like little miniature treatments, like 15, 20 minutes, and have like a few people. So you've got the spa that they're promoting themselves and promoting a wine store. Just kind of do something like that where you
Absolutely.
different components.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you have a relationship with somebody who brings in high-end women, or high-end men, there's a woman that I interviewed for my podcast who did exactly that. Built a relationship with a very high-end store this was in Ottawa actually, and she's got 75 women traveling on Uniworld to the Christmas festivals or the Christmas markets in Europe this winter, and that was over a long-term relationship. But they'd be talking about cruise wear, that was what they were showcasing, and then she'd be there with her little table, about cruises, and so just little by little she built a better and better relationship, with the store, and suddenly they've got 75 people cruising in Europe this winter. Yeah. So things like that, absolutely.
High-end restaurants maybe owned by a chef.
Yes. Got another podcast on that. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think the next step of this exercise is going to be?
Can I cheat? You already told me.
Because you want to be right.
Now,
I do like to be right.
I know, I do too.
Names. Try and put specific names with these groups. Try and list names. Okay, how many of you have family down there? Do you know the family names? You probably would hope. And again, don't blind yourself by saying, no, please, names, all the family names, relatives' names, whatever you have for contact group. And if you don't know a name in that group, that's okay. Put unknown. But I want you to put as many specifics here with these groups as you can.
Please pull up my phone. I have them all categorized. They're already in Firebase.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe you put C category X in my phone or something, Yeah. But get specific. Start thinking in terms of getting specific. This has been pretty general. Those circles are kind of general.
And if you need to pull out your phone,
That's their homework. Describe your ideal client.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they have a free night.
They got a free night.
They could do
They've been conscientious about it.
So that could be, yeah, I think that would be good. After dinner tonight, take some time and write it. Tell us who your ideal client
Describe
is.
who that person is.
Yeah.
Just thinking if there's some sort of little.
Okay, we got names? Okay. So the third step to this then is to look at the names. Mark, Mary, is that person, do you think they're going to be an ambassador? Or do you think they're a potential client? So you want to look at them and already start to associate. Because again, family, maybe family is just going to be the ambassador, okay? So you want to make sure that you identify them. So go ahead, go back to that list and just ambassador or possible client. Ambassador or possible client. And it's not bad if you end up with a lot of them as ambassadors, because again, it's about building a network and getting people helping you build your business.
And they
What's that?
could be both.
And that's fine. Absolutely they could be dual roles. I mean, you're hoping that clients become your ambassadors. So this list is going to be really important for you because it is what's going to allow you to begin to build your plan and, more importantly, your marketing, because that is what's going to drive, at some point, your pipeline. It's going to begin to build that database of people that you will begin to market to. And as we saw, marketing is what's going to help get people on the road and keep people traveling. So this right here is going to lead into tomorrow's exercise, which is when you start building your 30, 60, 90-day plan. Now there's one other thing, though, that is an important piece of this, and that is?
Right. Well, and before I say that, there's something else for you to know, and that is in Virtuoso, I think in the marketing area, there's actually a letter, a template letter, that says, you know, Lori has just joined this agency and X, Y, and Z. That announces your a new affiliation, or that can be a template for what you might send to your, fraternity or sorority, or to one of those professional organizations. So that already exists.
Yeah, it's a press release.
It's a press release.
It's in my marketing, yeah, under PR.
Right.
Or you can just go to public relations under the information pages, and then you'll find a press release under there as well.
Right.
So, and if you remind me tomorrow when we're actually back in virtuoso.com, I'll show you where to find that letter. And it's something that, you know, typically your agency, there's one that basically announces you are a part of, you know, XYZ agency and, you know, what you're doing. So.
Okay, right. And then the next piece here is, as we kind of wrap up today, and this is homework, okay? This is homework. So, and we're going to wrap up today as we generally do, but again, sort of thinking in terms of our brand, our marketing, our sphere of influence, the actions that we take, the values and so on, all of that is great. One of the things, and Scott and I were talking about this just a little bit earlier, and that is something that can be very, very helpful, and that is to identify in your mind, who are you actually marketing to when it comes to your ideal client? Now, there'll be specific marketing that you might do to your, you know, to your professional friends, and there'll be specific marketing that you might do to your family, you know, or what's his name, Uncle Buck? Uncle Ron, yeah, Uncle Buck, who turns out is a private jet pilot. Like, oh, good old Uncle Ron. You know, pretty good contact there. But for your homework tomorrow, we want you to think in terms of who actually is that ideal client. So when you are marketing now into a little bit broader arena and looking out there at the potentials, who actually is that client? What do they look like?
Yeah.
You know, what do they act like? And now, you had a particular thing that you had used. Do you want to share that? That might be one way to do it.
There's a guy named Seth Godin who's
right.
well-known.
Everybody knows Seth. Yeah.
He has 3 questions that he likes to pose to companies that are trying to market. And forgive me, the exact questions, let me get those, the way he phrases it, was really very simple. My product or service is for people who believe blank. So, you know, who is this for? People who believe, and it really corresponds well with about why. I will focus on people who want blank. And then, sorry. And then part of what you do in marketing is you're making a promise to people. So I promise that engaging with me will help you get blank. And that really goes to, like, are we, you know, working with adventure travelers or family travelers? But when you think about those things, it really forces you to sort of refine your marketing message.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's an easy little 1, 2, 3 step. My product, my service, services are for people who believe what? You know, that travel is extraordinary. Travel is a wonderful thing. I will focus on people who want what? The level of service maybe that you're looking for, the standard of excellence that you have. I promise that engaging with me will help you to gain what? You know, what that might be. So that may help shape your marketing message in particular. So that's one thing to be thinking about, because your marketing message is going to be a little bit different for everyone. When it comes to actually defining this ideal client, here might be, and I looked up another thing here too, because this is the first time we've actually done this. Because I think this is kind of a good exercise. And this will be our icebreaker tomorrow morning, by the way. Okay? So in looking at a way to do this, I mean, you can do it in a lot of different ways. But one would be to actually pick a real person. Instead of sort of making it up, who actually is it? You know an ideal client out there. You know somebody that would be absolutely fabulous, all right? So think in terms of kind of close your eyes and kind of get inside their skin. Kind of where is that person coming from? So sort of an empathetic, get into an empathy space about that particular person. As that person, what is it that frustrates you maybe about travel? What are the frustrations that that I have, or that I have in my life? I don't have enough time, I'm too busy, that sort of thing. And number 4 is, as that person, what do I wish I had? What do I wish I had in my life out there? Well, relating to that it may be travel, but it may be beyond that. It may not even be exactly that, but it may. Yeah, what's missing in life for me? And it may be excitement. It may be physical activity because I'm so daggone busy. When you look at who that client is, what do I wish I had? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Are we pretending we're this person?
Yes.
So if I'm Sally Smith, I'm writing what frustrates Sally Smith? I'm
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, exactly. So if you think about,
An example, just a
okay, so my ideal client is Meryl Streep. Okay? So it's not somebody made up here. It's like a real person. Or maybe in my life is okay, so here's somebody that I know in my life. My ideal client is a guy by the name of Tom Bedell, Tom and Molly Bedell, all right? Tom and Molly Bedell are multimillionaires. Tom and Molly Bedell fly private jets. Tom and Molly Bedell are very, very, very busy in their lives. They have a big family. They have multiple homes, a variety of different things. So who is that real person? So what are some of the things that when I think, in terms of where they're coming from, things that are frustrating for them? May well be, and here I have to kind of play act a little bit, but when I think about what might be frustrating for them is actually getting all of their family together because they're located all over the world. Something that might be a frustration for them is actually finding time together because they're both running independent businesses. What might be frustrating for them is they've been married now for 10 years. Finding the time to rest and relax, I don't know, or to be healthy, because we work so hard, and Tom would like to lose weight, I don't know. Put yourself in the mind of somebody out there who looks and feels like maybe your ideal client. What I wish I had was, God, I wish I had somebody to friggin' organize my life. I wish I had somebody, God, I wish I had somebody I wish I had somebody like that Sintra. She used to work for me, as an executive assistant. What is it that they wish they had in their life? I mean, those are kind of general ideas, but think about, somebody. Every one of you knows somebody in your life that I think that'd be like a really ideal client, and just pretend that you're them. Yeah, that's just one way to approach this.
Can we use a real client we'd like to replicate? Or
Yeah,
push
yeah,
beyond that?
yeah. You could do that. You could do that if that's so deconstruct that client. If you've got an ideal client, deconstruct them a little bit and think in terms of, okay, here's some frustrations. Or here's some things that person wishes they had. If that person wishes they had it, I'll bet there are thousands of people who wish they had that. What could I do in the way of reaching out to, scratch that itch that's out there in people's lives? you know, that can satisfy that need that they have, that maybe they don't even know they have it in some cases. But start thinking about that, because that's when it goes beyond this right here. You want to start reaching out, and just as Mara was talking about, you want your marketing to be in alignment with that person, not the lowest common denominator. Who is it that is your ideal client? Your ideal clients, you know, at the International Railway are people who love the idea of traveling by train. And that is how you guys have been so successful, by concentrating on that. Yeah. So what is it that, you know, would really be ideal clients for you to be thinking about? Okay? So, yeah.
We ask that of startup companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
We use the same phrase, what itch are they trying to scratch?
Mm-hmm.
Who your client, and one way to help them evaluate whether this is a good itch, you know, is what is the workaround? Because if it's an itch, they're satisfying in some way today. But if it's complicated and hard to satisfy that, and the entrepreneur has a better solution,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
huge.
Right, right.
And how often are they working around to satisfy that scratch?
Right, right.
If
And maybe
they're doing
one
it-
of the is you know, we've been talking about Wanderlist a little bit. We'll talk about a little bit more tomorrow, but this idea of organizing people's kind of messy bucket lists that they have. I mean, that's sort of a constant frustration. Now, where are we going to go next year? Well, maybe there's something that you can satisfy along those lines. So here's what we were up to today. Distinguishing between branding and marketing. And you guys have done a really great job, I think, in helping to, you know, getting clear in your mind about what that is. Beginning to start communicating what your personal brand is. Understanding what resources that we have. Jay did a great job in helping us, you know, scratch the surface of my marketing. Refine and begin to define your personal sphere of influence. Very important for us. Aligning our personal brand with our agency and with Virtuoso. You know, and being known by and being in alignment with these companies that we keep out there. And beginning to identify your ideal client and how to market to them. So we got lots and lots of marketing that's available. So who are you going to move it towards? And even in the work that you're going to do initially, there's no reason that you're not putting it out there like it's your very ideal client. So, so that's what we were up to today. So an assessment?
Self-assessment?
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Get your self-assessment out.
And then we'll do a takeaway. Yeah. That's what he did all afternoon, was my marketing.
But no, I thought we were going to go through, like, articulate this, the sphere of influence was part of the marketing plan.
Yeah, well, you'll probably get into a marketing plan probably tomorrow.
Right.
Okay, but my marketing is we should put maybe Virtuoso my marketing.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, now I get it.
My marketing, yeah, we should maybe change that to Virtuoso my marketing.
It's called My Marketing.
Whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Should we have open the door and let them come in and vacuum here?
Yeah, open the door, let them come in and vacuum. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's look at, and while you're kind of finishing that up, because I also know that there are a couple of you who have appointments to do some site inspections at another Virtuoso hotel here in town, right? Okay. Making an appointment ahead of time. Good thinking. Okay, key takeaways for today. What were some of the things that have been particularly helpful for you today, Shannon?
Finding my why.
All right. All right.
That's what it sounded like to me too.
My why. Yeah. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. And I know that it took a little digging for you to actually get there. Yeah, yeah. So good for you. Good for you. Absolutely. What else was important for you today, Kip?
Even more than that was putting together that very quick little I believe statement. And
Have this conversation after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I believe statement and how that can roll right into a larger conversation. You know, why, then there's the what, then there's the how, instead of the other way around. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else that was helpful for you today when you think about things?
Going through my marketing, looking at some of the different options and
Right.
getting a lot of great ideas.
Yeah, did you have any idea that there was that much hidden behind that little door?
Like really looking at opening up a few things.
Right.
Susie and I were talking at break, and the hard part is that, you know, when you just say, here's this, and here's this, and here's this, and here's this, it's overwhelming, and there's just so much there.
Right.
So until you can put it into action for you by specific clients or practicing sending an email, but it ultimately won't really become real until you can do it for a real client and do that. And that's that's just going to be time for you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So,
and some of these lists that you've been making this afternoon, and you start thinking, ooh, I could send out a fabulous picture of Aquilina, and announce the fact that I've just completed the first step in a certification offered by blah 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 blah, and here we are at the beautiful 5-star Aquilina Resort and Spa on the beach, in Sunny Isles. So you can absolutely do something like that. Yeah.
My biggest takeaway is going towards the ideal client and having the discipline. The first thing I thought, ideal client, no budget, wants to go to the latest and greatest place for bragging rights, but that doesn't fit in my why or I believe. Not that I would turn that guy
Interesting.
down. Don't get me wrong. But I'm also not going to go towards that person because they're doing it for reasons.
Just because they got gobs of money.
Right. So
Yeah.
they can one-up me really easily.
I'll take that.
Summer, on the other hand. Yeah, great. Yeah, Scott.
So I like Maura's wow stories.
Uh-huh.
I was looking forward to when I can have my own wow stories. Because that'll sort of help define everything. The stories are amazing,
Yeah.
I mean, the teddy bears, I would retell that story to somebody who was considering coming here.
Right. Exactly. They actually have, I think, a WOW award ceremony that they have at the end of the year or something like that, or the department that has, they're constantly telling these stories. It's pretty amazing.
Don't they earn wow bucks that they can?
They get wow bucks or something
yeah.
like that, or that they get to, this is a pretty amazing company here. Yeah. Yeah, so that's a fun one, and understanding that brand alignment. Anything else that was special for you today?
Yeah.
That was pretty powerful, all of that.
Yeah, it was a pretty big day here. So
Spoke a lot today. That was exciting.
I know, yeah, Jay. Woohoo! That's right. Oh, look at he's blushing. Yeah, bless his heart. Great. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great.
I have one more thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Virtuoso Voyages. I didn't know about.
Yes.
Yes. The Voyages, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Amanda.
Yeah, and I never knew about Chick-fil-A sauce before today either.
And the Chick-fil-A sauce. That's right. Good. All righty. Okay, well, with that, you're on your own tonight. And I hope you've got some fun dinner plans. I know that there's some spa appointments coming up this evening, or it's room service, whatever it is that floats your boat here.
Okay, you know what we always ask?
Clean up your trash.
Clean up your trash, get rid of your bottles, stack your stuff.
And we'll see you tomorrow morning with ideal clients.